Hey guys, D1sco here, and today I'm reacting to the Dead by Daylight developer update for May 2025. I apologize for being incredibly late to some of this stuff. I had a really busy last 3 days with work, and so I just haven't really found the time to film all this, so I'm filming it now. And so for those of you who don't know, as of recording this, there is a PTB for the 9th anniversary chapter coming out. I'm sure you all know what it is. It's very exciting. Also, as of recording this, I noticed Orange has a video up on it. Was his first initial reactions to the PTB. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend watching it. I haven't watched it yet because I'm trying to keep myself spoiler free, so that way my first impressions video will be, well, my first impressions, not just me having already seen stuff. He has another one on the way, so that's exciting too. We were gonna do one together. I don't know if it's gonna happen today like he was hoping, because it is really slow for me downloading. I'm not sure why, but while it is downloading, let's react to this developer update. It's always interesting seeing these, at least to me, so I'm excited. Going next prevention? Not sure what that means, but we'll get to it, I guess. The 9.0.0 update will be here before we know it. If I remember correctly, that will be with the new the 9th anniversary chapter, so that's exciting. So it's time once again take a look at the notable gameplay changes you can expect from tomorrow's public test build or PTB. As was last time, stay tuned for the PTB patch notes, where we'll share the precise values that are changing for each of the topics below. Read on for all the details. The patch notes are up as of recording this. I'm hoping to react to those. And then there's a lot I need to react to. I have at least one thing non-Dead by Daylight related that I need to react to. But other than that, it's basically all Dead by Daylight. So buckle up, boys. I got a lot going on. What we got here? New features. Going next prevention major update. That wording, I don't know what that means. I don't know. There's parts of this game that I am unfamiliar with in terms of the lingo. I only really know the lingo that me and Orange use, right? Which is very, not complicated or anything. It's very, kind of the basic lingo, nothing too crazy there or anything like that. Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, well, I didn't even realize there are Switch drops for this game ongoing, but as well. But I'm gonna do that. It said June 10th is when those end, so if you were unaware as well and watching this video, it's fairly solid. There's a charm, there's a banner, there was a badge, and 200,000 blood points, which is always nice to level up characters. So I'm gonna work on that while I film too. I got so much happening. Alright, so let's see what they mean by going next profession, because I honestly don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to explain it, but I do not know what that means, and I apologize. Added a system to identify whether a survivor sacrifice is an intentional attempt at going next in parentheses. If a player is identified as intentionally going next, they will receive a disconnection penalty point. Remove the option to self-unhook on first hook stage unless they have one of the following equipped. Slippery Meat perk, up the ante perk, a luck offering. Added unlocks the ability to attempt to unhook yourself effect to luck offerings. Oh, that's huge. I like that. What do we got here? Survivors are no longer instantly Survivors are no longer instantly killed after 2 struggle skill checks pass without any input. That one makes me personally really happy. There's times where I'm not trying to intentionally die, but some of you know this, some of you don't know. It's probably I would imagine 99%, if not all 100% of you watching this video, because we don't get many viewers and probably don't notice. But the way I play this game primarily nowadays is not related at all to it's on my computer. I do have it on PS4 as well, and I use it on PS4 every so often, but not so much to play, though it works perfectly fine. The problem, though, with my computer is that this game, it's not designed for what I run, I've come to understand. And because of that, I have these lag spikes when I play. It's totally playable. Me and Orange have it running pretty good because we mess with it. It runs it doesn't always run smoothly. There's things with the game, like sometimes 2v8, just as an example, can like have a lot of lag spikes. There's been a lot of matches where I don't experience any lag spikes or only a few, and that's kind of whatever. It unfortunately sometimes they happen in chases. That's always frustrating because I don't know where I am like on screen, you know, because I'm lag spiking. And sometimes it's like a quick lag spike, so it's like, you know, quickly like I'm, you know, my screen is frozen, but then I'm back. And other times it takes a while. So unfortunately, I accidentally missed those skill checks for unhooking yourself sometimes because of my computer problems. Though thankfully, I'm really happy that they changed that they're changing up this stuff. It sounds really nice. I really like the idea behind the system right now. Like, I don't know, again, I have no idea what they mean by going next still, but it sounds like they have a good system in place to deal with that. I like how luck offerings are going to affect this now. That is something that I actually remember saying to Orange that I wish they would have done a system where the either luck offerings or luck perks, you know, perks that mess with your luck, would affect this. I remember mentioning this to him like a year or two ago. I forget what we were talking about, but I had mentioned it because I forget why we even brought up that one ace perk that like increases your luck when you open like chests and stuff. But I remember mentioning to him like that I really wish that that luck offerings and like perks and whatnot would actually affect getting unhooked to like increase your chances to unhook yourself. So I'm really happy they thought about that too, and that's going to be updated to count, you know, towards this, and as long as everything else. This update alone has me excited already. Like, it sounds really nice, and oh, they did mention up the ante. That's what I thought. Yeah, like this sounds amazing to me. I noticed they didn't mention the Atom perk, but that makes sense because you have to get hooked first anyways with that perk. But not bad. Please note that this connection penalty system is not active on the PTB, so certain facets of the going next penalization will not be available to test. Interesting. I'm not sure why that's not available on the PTB. I'm assuming they have a reason. If it's not given anywhere, that's fine. Developer note. I'm curious. I'm really curious to read the developer notes for these. Extreme hiding update also intrigues me, but we'll get there. We've made the above changes in order to tackle going next from 2 directions: penalizing repeat offenses and limiting exploitability of self-unhooks by restricting early match self-unhooks to specific perks and offerings. This still allows players to work it into their strategy while limiting cases where it's used in bad faith. That's fair. I have no problem with that personally. And in fact, ooh, bloodlust setting improvements. I'm really excited now. I'm 9 minutes in and I've gushed about one update, but I'm just so excited about it. Extreme hiding update. The wording, the name extreme hiding update intrigues me. Updated AFK detection system. If I remember correctly, it's really just the crows that fly around you for a limited time right now. So I wonder what they mean by updated AFK detection system. Reminder, if a player is considered AFK, crows will gradually begin flying above the survivor, beginning with 1 and capping at 3. Once a survivor has 3 crows following them, they lose collision with other players. I think the collision thing might be new, but that's about it. Developer note, with this updated system, we've adjusted how the game identifies players who have stopped contributing to a match. While the crow system largely functions as before, an additional effect, free crows prevents survivors from intentionally griefing teammates with body blocking while also preventing the killer from holding survivors hostage. Interesting. Okay, interesting that the crow system is still basically the same. I have no problem with that, but it is interesting. But I will say this, I like that new effect though of you can't like message. I'm assuming once the crows leave, once you've moved enough that the crows leave, I would imagine you go back to normal. But that's the extreme hiding update. Like I kind of like that. I wouldn't really call it an extreme hiding update. I feel like that name is misleading. Personally, it's just because it's all about AFK, not so much. And I get hiding could be a part of that, but it's just when I see extreme hiding update, I don't think of that. I think of like other things. If that makes sense. Blood web spending improvements. That is an interesting name. Ooh, Mori update. The Mori, I'll get to it when I get to that, but I'll get to the Mori update. That's something I can't share, but I'm really excited for the bloodless spending improvement. They made it so much better. Was the last time they touched it of giving you the effect of either like holding, like you don't have to tap on everything individually. You can just, like for instance, if there's a specific perk you want, you just go to the perk, you press the button, and then it just automatically goes to that perk. There's the one that just automatically buys. I use that one primarily for early levels when I'm leveling up a character nowadays, because I personally like to pick what perks I receive. Just, you know what I mean? I have certain perks and certain things I'm looking for more so than others. So I personally like to pick. But for those early levels, when you don't get the option to pick, yeah, I like blazing through it so that way I can get those perks stronger, right? Get those perks stronger, get those add-ons, get whatever. I just personally like it. Added an auto blood web button. We already kind of have that. Which allows you to set how many levels you want to automatically progress through blood point spring. Okay, that is really nice. So it does work differently. That's gonna be nice though. That way you can just set it and then it'll just like automatically level up there. That I can see that being really nice, especially for earlier levels. I honestly see no issues with that. I know I'm kind of a weird player with certain things compared to other players, but I really think that's a good idea. I really like it. Developer note: it's no secret this is one of the most common community requests, so we're excited to put this in your hands. Even better, we've removed some recurring pop-ups after we see them once to make your time in the blood web even more snappy. That's really nice too. I forget what the pop-ups are other than like prestige levels. I feel like you should kind of and like maybe some, I feel like it's really just a prestige level. There's probably something else I'm not thinking of, but that's nice that they're doing that to make it even faster that way too. Mori update. So what I want to mention is that they've been wanting to update this. They tried to update the system a couple times. The first time they tried, they were gonna lock. They were gonna make it so you could that they were gonna remove the Mori offerings, all of them completely, and you could only Mori the last person in trial. People got upset about that, and it was also an early test of it, not so much anything else. Then they brought it again somewhat recently. I forget exactly how many months ago it was. Maybe Orange will let me know in the comment section below if he watches this, or maybe somebody will. I don't know. I'd like to know though. Um, but they brought that system back, and people had complaints, and I actually shared the complaint a lot of people did of I didn't understand the point of not being allowed to kill everybody and being allowed to kill one. So thankfully what they actually did was they removed, I think it was the yellow offering. They removed the one that lets you kill the last person, but they kept the other two, so that way you can still mori multiple people, which I really like. But let's see what the new Mori update is. I'm curious. Update the Mori system so it can now also be activated when 2 or more survivors are dead and the following occurs. Interesting. So now you can do it if you get half of the team dead, you can use it on the other two. That's interesting. The second last survivor is hooked and on struggle phase. Interesting. The final survivor is in one of the following states: healthy, injured, or dying. Interesting. I want to read the developer note on this one, just get more clarification from them, if you will. It sounds interesting. It sounds like you'll be able to mori 2 people now instead of just 1 for the system. But I really, I can understand them not wanting you to mori everybody with the system. I'm curious if they'll ever update it to be that way, like under very specific circumstances for the 4K mori, but. Let's see what we got here. With this change, killers will be able to activate their Mori earlier so long as the victory is assured. Removing the need to wait for any hook survivors to be sacrificed, this will let players on both sides get back into the action sooner. Okay, I do like that. I really like how so far with this update, they're basically saying, hey, here's some complaints that we've had about areas where our game feels a little slow. Here's how we're addressing that, and then you get to test these out in the PTB. I like that. I like how they're wanting to make the game continue to run smooth and well. The quality of life changes that they've been working on have been amazing to see so far, and I've been really enjoying those as well so much already. Map offering updates. This is something that I wouldn't say it's. This is something that I know Orange, me and Orange are players that if we see a map offering, we usually get a little, I wouldn't say upset, but we're kind of just like, aw, because, we're going somewhere good. It doesn't always end badly. Like, I know Orange has mentioned, I think it was in a video, that, like, he knows it doesn't always, like, mean anything, but it is kind of, like, oh, well, if you're sending me there, then you're clearly, like, the layout of the map well and whatnot. You feel confident with this map, So, it just kind of puts you a little bit more on edge. But let's see what we got here. Map offerings grant a flat percentage chance of being sent to the associate realm. This chance is no longer a guarantee. And I really like that. They've had some complaints, if you will, with the map, system of just constantly people just getting the same maps over and over, and that's happened to me I think a couple times where I played multiple matches and it's just like the same couple maps, and you have all these maps in this game. I don't want to see the same one, you know what I mean? I'm really happy other people agree with me, and they've actually and that's kind of part of it, that you won't be guaranteed to the map you brought. It also says map offerings no longer stack their effects, which is interesting too. Fun story about that real quick. I once got into a match where I think I was playing Michael. Anyways, doesn't matter. The point is I wanted to play the game to, I think I had some challenges to go for. I forget if I was even going to be trying, or I think I was actually going to be trying because I had some challenges I was trying to do. I was worried about it because I'm not great at the game. So all 4 survivors brought offerings. 3 of the offerings went to. I want to say 3 of the offerings were trying to go to the game or something like that, which is for those who don't know, that's the Saw chapter map. It's the one that has all the pallets, which is like the most infamous thing about. The other person offering was, I want to say, the map was all the cars, maybe. Anyways, it ended up not being the map that 3 of the offerings would have went to, and one of the people that brought the offerings, obviously, because I didn't bring anything. At least I don't remember. I didn't bring an offering, and they DC'd. Someone DC'd because they didn't get the map they want. I don't remember how I treated it at the time. I think I like to myself, because obviously they wouldn't have known. But I think I was like making fun of them to an extent by myself, but kind of being like, "Aw, look at the little baby not getting from kind of thing." But them just saying that they no longer stack kind of reminded me of that funny little instance where there were 3 perks to the same map stacked, but I still didn't get sent to map. And that was before all the systems where map offerings guaranteed basically you got to that map. But there is a slight chance if multiple map offerings were brought at the time that it wouldn't happen. And that would be one of those cases where the one by itself won out, which is kind of funny. Map and gameplay affecting offerings are treated as secret during the loading screen reveal. So I think that, yeah, that's a new one. I remember now. They had stated that they wanted to make that secret, sort of like Maury's and other things, because of me and Orange kind of being like, oh, but also there were people that took it a step further than we did. There was people intentionally DCing, unlike we were. So that was a problem too. Developer note: by making mapping gameplay affecting offerings secret on loading screens, our intention is to preserve the element of surprise, preventing the opposing role from starting the match with knowledge of your strategy. And that's something that I like that they do strive for, is that you'll never know like what's happening until you enter the match and play. Spawn rules update. So this one I feel like is I'm a little nervous to read this one, and here's why. So a long time ago, I don't remember when this was, they said something about, they did something with like spawning at one point in time before. And I had and everybody and they listened to primarily only the killer players. And I say that because what they did was they had the survivors spawn, I think it was farther apart. Yeah, they had survivors spawn farther apart, and their reasoning was basically just centered on killer players. They had mentioned something along the lines of players have mentioned that it's frustrating to go into a match and multiple survivors are together, and thus gens pop pretty quickly at the beginning sometimes. And so they wanted them to be more spread out. And I remember Orange had brought this up one time when I was hanging out with him, and I mentioned my thought on it, which is still honestly my thought to it, which is basically that, well, I understand that. I felt like that was worse because now they're spread out farther. The killer player is going to have to like move around more. And also because they're spread out, they might have more time to work on those gens. Yeah, obviously being together, right, you have multiple people doing the gen, but they're spread out, so multiple different gens are being around at the same time. So I just felt like it was kind of a bad idea for those reasons. So I'm curious with the spawn rules update here, if it's going to be, like what side it's going to feel like it's affecting primarily, or like anything else. So let's read this because I'm already intrigued. Adjusted the following spawn rules. Survivors spawn as close together as possible. Survivors spawn on the same floor when applicable. Where applicable, the killer will not spawn at the center of small maps. Interesting. It does just say adjusted the following spawn rules, so like maybe there's something else, so I don't really know exactly what they adjusted about them, but it sounds nice. Change the name of Shroud of Separation to Shroud of Vanishing and change its effect to nullify offerings that change survivors' spawn locations. Interesting. Change the name of Shroud of Binding to Shroud of Separation and change its effect to spawn survivors apart from one another. So they are keeping this Shroud of Separation. They're just okay. So they're completely getting rid of Shroud of Binding. To add Shroud of Vanishing, basically. Interesting. Developer notes these changes to spawn rules. Players will find their spawn locations to be more consistent when not affected by offerings. We all know certain Shroud offerings have historically worked counter to what each role might want, so we've adjusted them to better line up with these expectations, which is nice. Honestly, yeah, I like that. Gamma adjustment setting. I know some people care for this. I personally don't care as much as others. This is just because this is just a visual thing. Number one, my computer here probably can't handle it anyways, and number two, it doesn't matter to me because it doesn't really affect gameplay all that much. It just affects what you, the player, are seeing. So I feel like so for me personally, it's on like a lower end of priorities. Added a video category to the graphics settings menu. Added a brightness setting to the video category, just gamma. Developer notes that by doing it, it's a game that relies heavily on the play between light and dark, which can be difficult to strike a balance between when playing on console. Given the more limited options available, to help alleviate this, we've added a setting for adjusting gamma, which gives players more control over how light and dark elements are displayed. So it's really just a thing for console players. Interesting. Though they do have pictures, so let's see. Gamma. Okay, so they're doing kind of the generic console game thing of you have the icons and you have this make it when this image on the left, this one right here is barely visible. This is the lowest setting, I guess. And this is the highest setting. The lowest setting that's not even playable. I can only see the tree and part of the car. This is, for me personally, this is not playable. It also just looks like a black screen on my on my camera. Okay. This is not playable for me. This is pretty good though. Not gonna lie. This is good. Custom match improvements. These are exciting because me and Orange do like custom matches. We primarily use them only in PTB videos, and that's primarily because you can't make progress, and that's something Orange has been wanting, so that way we can play against bots if we want to and keep making progress. I know Marvel Rivals offers that, Overwatch 2 offers that, Paladins offers that, number of other online-only games offer that, but not that by doing. So let's see what they got for us. Increase spectator slots in custom game to 5. I don't really know what that means. That doesn't really affect me, but nice for those who it does affect. Added hotkey inputs to custom game spectating to quickly switch the view to a specific character and cycle through character views one by one. Interesting. Not bad. Added controller support for the above improvements. Oh, that's good. Developer note, not only is custom match a way to easily play with friends, it's also a valuable tool for coordinating tournament play. To help streamline its use in these environments, we've added hotkey support to various methods of switching to make casting on the fly even easier. Plus, with increased spectator slots, tournament organizers have the option to give viewers visibility of all players in the match. Oh, that's not bad. I feel like this is even better. We have more improvements coming to custom match in a future update. See more of this. I feel like I'm gonna be this update for me doesn't really matter. This update just sounds like they're doing that for like tournaments. Because I know this game does have tournaments and whatnot. So that's a big letdown. Like, I think it's good for tournaments, but I just feel like it's a big letdown to players because it's not going to affect the everyday player. It only really, something that sounds like it's primarily just intended for tournaments and making, tournaments a little bit better. So that's upsetting just because I felt like I would have liked something else. Killer updates, The Artist. This is a killer. Me and Orange historically suck ass. Adjusted several add-ons. Developer note overall, The Artist is in a solid place balance-wise and boasts useful add-ons that meaningfully change how her kit works. To encourage even more pick variety among these, we've adjusted her top and bottom performing add-ons to bring some usefulness more in line with her other options. Stay tuned for the patch notes for specific details on these changes. Fair enough. Not terrible. The Lich, who probably needs quite a bit. I feel like I never see Vecna here at all, ever. All of the Lich's spells are available at the start of the trial. Oh, that's nice. Reduce cooldowns of all spells. That's nice. The Spelling Sphere's projectile moves quicker when first cast and slows down over time. That's nice. Increase the killer instinct duration when survivors exit the Spelling Sphere. That's nice. Increase the attack cooldown period after Defiance. Thank God. Increase the duration of movement. Speed of flight. That's really helpful. Adjusted Mage Hand the whole time to make it consistent for both killers and survivors. Resolving a known bug. Increase the effect of magic items when casting the associated spells. Adjusted survival. He sounds really good now, honestly. Like, they fixed a lot of his major problems and whatnot. Well, I wouldn't say all of his major problems, but like, quite a bit of them. It sounds like maybe they've gotten some. It sounds like they've gotten a number of complaints on certain parts of his kit, and here we are. What do we got here? Oh, perk updates. That's exciting. Developer note for the Lich, much of his power focuses on providing utility over reliably injuring survivors. We've adjusted his 4 spells to increase the frequency with which they can be used to ensure there's no more spell slinging. Interesting that they want more spell slinging. I feel like in some ways Survivor players might hate that because now they're dealing with more effective spells. But it also kind of makes sense to me because the way he worked before this, if you will, it wasn't bad, but there was like quite a bit of a cooldown between each spell. And if I remember correctly, I think you couldn't, like, once you use the spell, you couldn't activate the other ones. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering that. But the point is like, the cooldown was long enough that it sounded like it was too slow for what they were wanting. While quality of life adjustments help make these spells smoother to use. Fair enough. On the survivor side of things, we also want to ensure magic items feel like more viable options for countering each spell, so we built them. So, that's nice too. I'm happy they thought about survivor players. I'm really happy they mentioned during the 9th anniversary live stream that they did. I know there's a part 2 to it, essentially. I know Orange has reacted to it. I have not. I haven't seen anything of it. I'm planning on maybe watching it on the side of if I will or not. If you want to see that video, let me know. I will do it. But I was really happy when they said that, when they acknowledged something that I've basically been saying for a number of years now. And I remember getting a mean comment from someone years ago that tried to be all whatever about my point. But I personally have felt like ever since the 40 perk rework, the game has been incredibly killer-sided. And part of that is due to my own experience with the game. My own experience with the game is the killer almost always 4Ks or 3Ks. It is never anything else. And that I think I've mentioned this to Orange, but that gets tiring. Like, I've gotten kind of tired of even playing the game because I'm not good enough as killer, in my opinion, at least. I need more practice as killer. Thankfully, 2v8, which is a really fun game mode that me and Orange both love, that gives me that chance to get work on my skills, which I really appreciate. But Survivor, it's harder. Like, you know what I mean? Like with Survivor, it's harder. It's something where it's a lot harder, and people don't really realize that. So I'm really happy that they mentioned that behavior themselves said that they focused more on killer players than survivor players, and that they were going to start kind of helping out survivor players as well. And I really like that survivors are finally getting touched and will hopefully be more in line with killers. I don't understand why they didn't want the game to be 50-50 on like the kill rates. They wanted killers to kill more than survivors to survive, which is interesting. And I'm just hoping that these survivor changes are really going to be of huge help and allow me and Orange to enjoy playing Survivor more. Because it's not that we hate playing Survivor. We don't. We're just not great at it, and we just suck ass at Survivor. Is all. Perk updates, killer perks. Updated Call O'Brien, updated Dark Devotion, updated Hex Retribution, updated Machine Learning, updated Superior Anatomy, updated Terminus, updated Thrilling Tremors, updated Flak. We've adjusted values on the above perks, which boasted lower pick and kill rates to introduce small buffs to increase their survivability. Stay tuned for the patch notes for specific details on these value changes. Honestly, those are not bad perks. I'm not surprised that 2 of Wesker's perks are here. Wesker's perks are okay. The problem with Wesker's perks is they are very heavily, like, in the pen, you know what I mean? Like, one of them allows you to vault faster. Terminus, I think, makes people that you injured during the end game, like, broken or something like that. They're situational, so I'm happy that they're touching those 2 perks and they're going to give them some type of buff. I don't know yet. Flak is not a bad perk either, but Skull Merchant perks they're okay. So I'm really excited to see what updates Flak gets. Thrilling Tremors is the Ghostface perk that I do see quite a bit, but I'm interested to see what they'll do with that perk. Call O'Brien is an interesting one. Call O'Brien is the perk that I swear got used a ton in the past. But they heavily nerfed it. They, like, nerfed it into the ground because they, like, destroyed its, like, numbers. And thus, that's probably why that perk is here. But though I'm excited to see what they do with it. Dark Devotion doesn't surprise me for being here. It's not a bad perk either. It's just one of those things where it's kind of situational, you know. Machine Learning is not bad either. I want to say that's considered Singularity's, like, best perk or something like that. So it's nice seeing that that's gonna get touched up more. Hex Retribution, not bad either. Like, they picked, I feel like they picked pretty decent killer perks to update, so no problem there. Survivor perks. There's one perk in particular that if I see is in here, I'm going to be excited, because this one perk is my least favorite perk in the entire game, and I really want them to make it better. But what we got here? So we got updated Body Knowledge, updated Champion of Light. Champion of Light, I feel like it will probably be a nerf, maybe, because it is like that is one of the 2 like really good flashlight perks. And that one especially is pretty solid, so I would imagine that Champion of Light is probably going to get some type of nerf. Updated Counter Force, which is not bad, but like it's kind of situational. Updated Desperate Measures, I feel like that's pretty nice. Updated Amplified Connections, updated Exaltation. So far I have no issues with what I'm seeing. Updated Lifelet. So unfortunately the perk that I want them to change still is not being touched. I don't think this perk has been touched ever since its release, which is annoying. But that's besides the point. They picked interesting perks, so let's see what we got here. Developer note, similar to the above, we updated values on some perks with lower performance, introducing small buffs. We'll share their exact values to competitive. Interesting that they're buffing Champion of Light. They kind of boasted about that perk being like a really good flashlight perk. Though the reason why I personally don't use Champion of Light is because I suck ass at aiming flashlights. I don't want to like make a whole flashlight build and then wait, never get to use it because I'm that bad. But I'm really excited to see like what Counterforce is getting, and Light-Footed and Exaltation. Those are fun perks. So I'm really excited to see those perks get updated. Binding Knowledge is also fun. I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for all of them, really. I'm just saying I'm kind of just surprised Champion of Light is going to be getting a buff. But I'm excited to see like the numbers and stuff when I get to that video. Until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. Overall, I really like a lot of this. I really like the both set of perks. I feel like they picked pretty good ones, and I'm excited to see what they do with them. Vecta here got some pretty good sounding changes. It sounds like they just wanted him to like pop spells off more, and this update sounds like it'll do just that. Artist, I'm a little surprised they said Artist is well balanced, but I mean I guess so. I don't know enough about Artist to really say one way or the other, but it's nice seeing that they're going to touch her add-ons, just make her a bit more nice. So the custom match improvements is a letdown to me personally. I don't like that tournament only, basically, that only really affects tournaments. That's a major letdown to me. The Gamma is just something I'm not super interested in, though I can understand people using it. I think it's a good thing to add into the game. It's just not something I'm personally like, oh, thank God behavior, It's something where I'm more like, I'm happy they added it for the people who care, kind of thing. The spawn rules update sounded pretty nice to me, honestly. I like the map offering update a lot. The Mori update sounds intriguing. I really like the Bloodweb spending improvements. That's a big problem, so I'm happy that got announced. Extreme hiding update, it's fine. It sounds basically the same, just with one little change, but it sounds fine. And of course, the big update, the Going Next Profession, which I absolutely loved, and I spent probably too long talking about. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell, do all the aggro garbage. It helps us out a lot and means a lot to us. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.